r/ForeverAlone. Packbud says, I finally got a girlfriend and I don't feel any happier or less empty. Just want to get this out there for anyone thinking getting a girlfriend will immediately solve their problems. It might, and of course it's worth trying to get one, but I don't think you should expect it to. All you're doing is building up this giant ball of expectations, only to possibly feel the same afterwards, or even worse, because it didn't live up to your expectations. I remember one of my friends kept telling me he thought if he had a girlfriend all his problems would disappear. If you're like me, and you have existential crisis, childhood trauma, career problems, financial troubles, stress, family problems, social anxiety, etc., it's very likely that you will still feel the same after getting a girlfriend. You might get a few highs here and there, but overall your general state of being is caused by so many more factors than loneliness or lack of intimacy. And Pontiff_on_Livin says, you are already above a bunch of us here. How do you think the guys who can't even get someone to look their way feel? Aglister says, you have a teammate in life, someone to cuddle with. Why doesn't that improve problems like existential crisis or social anxiety? Packbud says, I'm not saying it can't, but it might not. Why? IDK man, life is complex. You can't take an abused dog from a shelter and just expect it to be like a normal one right away, if ever, because you put it in a home. 30 years of anxiety or existential crisis won't go away because you got a girlfriend for a few months. Depression affects everything from how you feel in the moment to how you react to things and how they make you feel. Things that might make others happy won't, because you are in another state of mind. Your neurons and pathways are compromised. Deleted says, then break up with her. There is nothing in the world that is going to solve all of your problems. Il Santo 9298 says, it isn't going to solve all of my problems, but it would solve a crap ton of them. Even if it doesn't work, having a girlfriend and feeling she cared for me even a little bit before she leaves would mean I'm good enough. Good enough that maybe one day I'll find the right girl. A ray of hope when I've never had any logical reason to have any. Of course I'm working on other problems until then. I'm taking pills and therapy for my depression. Working to get a job. Trying to work out. I just need something to tell me that it will all pay off someday. God, I need a family. WH1 Tishigai says, yeah, and becoming filthy rich wouldn't solve all my problems either, but it would damn well help. Ariman16 says, maybe it's due to getting a GF so late and missing all the fun of late teens and early 20s when your GF would have similar experiences as you. r/ForeverAlone. Woodclip says, reminder that the average person doesn't view being forever alone as a serious debilitating problem. The average person doesn't view being forever alone as a serious debilitating problem. This could be because chronic loneliness or the lack of companionship is not exactly a life and death matter, akin to the lack of food or water. I'll admit that this is true, but still being truly far sucks the joy out of day-to-day life. I believe this is the main reason why the most of the advice given to FARs consists of hollow platitudes such as, just focus on yourself and your hobbies, love yourself before someone else can love you, being single has no bearing on your self-worth, you'll find love when you least expect it, go out and do X, Y, Z to them. The FARs soul-crushing loneliness is only a minor inconvenience that will be resolved sooner or later, or something that isn't actually that big a deal, and can be fixed if we do the correct things. If you do your due diligence, and you're still alone, you'll often hear you didn't do enough, or you're doing it wrong, which emo translates to if you're still lonely, it's your fault. While we are expected to go on treasure hunts and jump through all kinds of hoops, regular people just happen to find love doing regular everyday things, like attending college or university, going to work, meeting friends, attending events etc. They just live normally and good things just happens to them. Since this is the case, regular people assume that finding a partner is actually easy and that FARs are struggling because we aren't doing something right. Throwaway 54734 says, I think most people with a shred of empathy know perfectly well that chronic loneliness is a bad place to be. There's just not really much you can do or say to help somebody in this situation. Pathetic_owner03 says, the average person would see us as creeps and whiners and then cry a river when they can't meet a friend or aren't in a relationship for more than a month. Bizatch, that's my entire existence. Tfu. Killer Donkey says, for real. I think being far is one of the worst things that can happen to a human being. Although it isn't an immediate life or death situation in the same way that a famine or homelessness is, social isolation is extremely distressing and devastating for your health. Companionship and intimacy are base human needs. It's terrible that society has no empathy for us. Most people just cannot relate with us. Trickster Spidus says, I think most people kinda see love as a natural progression of life. The key difference between a normal loner and an FAR loner is that the normal one still has hope. Their fate might be the same, but their mindset gives them a happier outlook on life. That's why a lot of the time people just tell you try different things and say there's someone for you. They don't really know the answer, but they're trying their best to bring the hope back so you can at least function. I'm of the personal belief that advice nowadays shouldn't be to regain that hope, but to prepare someone for FAR status. From a young age you should be given a solid loner's foundation so that succeeding or failing in love won't hit so hard. People who are already adults should be taught how to develop that foundation. Birth rates and relationships may decline, but overall happiness will increase. We also need to get rid of the stigma of being alone. If gonna be individualists, then we need to take it to the next level. Obsidian Arrow says, having companionship is absolutely a need and the lack of it consistently can kill someone. Humans are wired for socialization down to the core. It's that, unlike hunger or thirst, it won't kill someone as quick or as noticeably. The advice that people give are balms to temporarily to take your mind off the state of being alone in the hopes that you'll meet someone and have done something interesting or character building for yourself in order to be worthy of the person you meet to keep you around. The advice isn't inherently a bad thing, but it can be tedious to someone who has consistent loneliness and is depressed/crippled by it. And a lot of the times it feels like an insult. This person who has only experienced temporary loneliness thinks they have found the key to get out of it and wants to share it in order to lift their fellow humans up, but some people have been alone for so long that it feels insulting to try to give them hope when the apathy and familiarity of loneliness is their default experience. r/ForeverAlone. Thesarch for Life says, what's the worst advice that pisses you off? I hate when people say just treat women like human beings and I will have better luck with them. It implies I don't treat them like people or something. WTF. So condescending and bullshit. What's the worst advice that pisses you off? TTLX0102 says, top pieces of worthless advice. Go to a meetup, just get out there, talk to people, open up. You won't find anyone until you love yourself. Armifit1004 says, be more talkative, it doesn't help when I'm the only one talking. Notrealitard_ says, focus on yourself and women will come to you for the love of God. If you're a high schooler or college student in FAR, never take this advice. If no one noticed or acknowledged you, they will to do so if you focused on yourself. That's not how human relationships work. Hornby says, I'm starting to think this advice is some kind of weaponized language for keeping us where we are, or worse. We all spend our late teens and 20s wasting our chances of finding somebody, then we K1 lines ourselves when we realize we missed our shot. Throwaway 1981, X says, put yourself out there. Saphaclick 9455 says, I hate the advice of joining a group or going on dating apps. And it's always said like it's the easiest thing in the world. Cassette to Live 277 says, just be confident bro is kinda bad. Authentic confidence comes from validation and achievement. Fake confidence, at least for me, is easy to see. Feigning confidence is difficult. Throwaway 54734 says, anything that boils down to just stop being mentally ill, dang, all these years and I never tried that. The Den myself says, go to the gym. I certainly would benefit from it both mentally and physically if I had the discipline and funds, but there is no gym for the face. Il Santo 9298 says, people online have actually told me to take care of basic hygiene like take a shower, brush your teeth or stupid bullshit like that, and then act like they are being genuine in the advice giving. No frick, way they expect me to take their assumption that I'm a shit covered moron as advice and not get irritated. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.